Ladies and gentlemen, he, him, her, they, them, their, all of everyone out there that listens to us, welcome to the Schnozzcast episode 180. If you've been following along, if you haven't, that's okay. We welcome you. For this Independence Day weekend, our normal host, Mr. Bob, Dr. Highbrow Eyebrow Rankin, is out for this evening. He's licking his wounds with some sort of STD, staph infection, something like that. But I stepped into the hot seat, and hopefully it goes as planned. And everything works out for this evening beyond that point. Cory, how are you?
Not bad, sir. How about yourself?
Oh, doing all right then. How you doing, Todd?
I am mighty, sir.
You know, it just puts a little spring, not only in my step, but in my pants when I hear that you're mighty.
Wow.
When I hear Todd is mighty, I feel mighty.
I get awfully mighty myself.
I still remember you showed up at your wedding. You showed up at your wedding, and I was like, Todd! I was probably more excited than I should have been. But I was like, it's just this. It's like seeing Santa. It's like, oh my God, this man is real. And I looked at him. I was like, I thought you said you were taller than I was. And he's like, no, I did not. I didn't say that. I said, you went on and on about how tall you were. And that
compared to Cory.
He said, no, I said I was taller than
here.
I said I was taller than Cory. I said, oh, fair enough.
Exactly. I'm like, compared to Cory, I'm a giant.
You're a fucking idiot. That's what you are.
Oh my God. So yeah, I was laughing at that. And what Christy didn't know at the time was, and I've met Bob's ex Christy several times, but Christy was standing next to Todd at the wedding, and Bob doesn't even know this. Christy picked up on it, but I was able to lie my way out of it. Christy was standing next to Todd when I walked up before the wedding even started, and I walked up to Todd. And I was talking to him for a minute, and finally I looked over at Christy, who at the time I did not recognize was Christy because I just recognized her as female standing next to Todd. And that
happens all the time.
And I said, "Oh, it's nice to finally meet you." And she went, "Oh yeah," and she had this very confused look on her face because for a sec I thought it was Mary. I just assumed. I'm like, of course he's here with Mary, and it was not, and I didn't know up until the reception that was not Mary. And I was very confused because Christy walked up. She was talking. She like sidled Bob on the dance floor, and she looked right at me, and she was like, which is stupid because I know what Christy looks like, and I've met her several times. And I was like, I don't know. They went to the same college. Maybe they like the same kind of girl. I mean, I don't know. And
Christy's twin sister.
Yeah. And she came up to me, and Mary's she's got that type A conservative, so she's like she attacks. She doesn't.
You mean Christy?
Christy, yeah. She attacks.
Now you're really getting everyone confused.
She attacks.
Exactly.
Christy.
It's all conflated.
I'm telling you, Christy, and she looks right at me, dead in the face, and she's like, "Why were you saying nice to meet me?" She's like, "How do you not know who I was? We've met each other several times." And I was like, "I know." And she's like, "So what was that all about?" And you could tell she felt very awkward. And I said, "Christy," I'm like, "I talked to you at Jack's graduation multiple times. I know who you are. It was obviously a joke." And she's like, "Oh, okay." And she looked at me and it's like that she was not filled in on the joke. Like she didn't know the punchline. I'm like, God, what are you really? I don't know who you are. And so I gave her a hug, and she's like, "Yeah, I was going to say, we've talked several times." I'm like, "Yeah, I know who you are, Christy." And or Mary or whoever she was.
That's funny.
And then I kept the rest of the night. I'm like, where did Todd's wife go?
Bob, so you and Todd are like really close friends, huh?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we always have been. No, like you guys are really close, huh? Yeah, man. Why? Well, I mean, I just think it's pretty cool that you and Christy got divorced and you let Todd marry her, man. That's that's really close.
Hey, listen. So, just so you know, in good conscience, I can't call you Christy, while we're doing all that, so from this point forward, your name's gonna be Mary, and you're living in Seattle with me. So yeah, you could tell like on her face that 90% of her didn't buy what I was telling her, but
I was gonna say she's not that dumb.
But as polite as she was, she accepted it.
She let you slide.
She was very confused.
Yeah,
she was perplexed.
Christy's pretty sharp, so I don't think you pulled that one over.
Exactly.
But she had this look on her face like she was trying to crack a safe like the whole time. And finally, she just had that. Okay, like that look.
Don't pee on my leg and tell me it's raining.
Exactly.
And no one else was the wiser. So hopefully she doesn't listen to the Schnozzcast. But yeah, so I would say that's the housekeeping. Nothing else really is going on. Cory, what were all the new things you tried tonight?
Oh man, we have 4 new cameras set up. We're connected to a brand new server. Have a new streaming service we're using.
That's why we had to reset the Wi-Fi.
Yeah. I don't know if it's going to last until next week, but we'll see.
We always like to, and I've talked to Cory several times, and I should be filling Todd in on this. But anytime Bob's gone, even if we have something new before a time that Bob's gone, we like to wait until he's gone to release something new.
Yes.
Because it makes the most sense.
So since Bob is not here with us right now, I will say, and I've said I know he's going to listen to this in post and have to edit everything. So Bob, listen up.
Unless he's quarantining, then he doesn't have to do anything. Apparently,
right. True. But yeah, it's so. I wish like I could test all these things at home. The issue being is though I don't own my own Rodecaster mixer that we use on the show, so sometimes it's a little hard.
You almost had to earlier today.
Yeah, true. But yeah, sometimes it's a little hard to get everything fully tested and in working order without doing it from here. So it sucks sometimes, and yeah, it gives us a little bit of a delay, but for the most part, it usually works out. We get the show done somehow. In
light of Bob Rankin not being here and not being able to speak his thoughts, I feel like he would say, dude, you could go to Nick's house any day of the week.
Yes, because I have
That's correct.
You go to Nick's house any day of the week and test things out.
I know that's exactly what he would say.
Or you can get there early.
Yes. The issue being there's a lot of other stuff in life to take care of.
I'm a married man. I'm a married man now.
I'll give you Todd.
So, okay. Cory, if you want, like, before
if I wanted to listen to this thing, where would I do that?
Oh yeah, shit, man, come on, get with it.
Yeah. So I don't have my usual file of notes. Otherwise, I would have this with me. So if you you know what, Todd, that's a good question. Why don't you answer that?
What? Don't put me on the spot. I'm not the one who screwed up.
Well, clearly you're calling me out, so you know where to find us, right? If you want,
I'm the talent. I am the talent.
Todd gets fluffed. He doesn't do any fluffing.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, like clearly I need to make a new note in my phone because
make sure to fluff Todd.
I don't have this anymore. But if you want to find us, we are on social media. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We are on Instagram, Twitter, all Schnozzcast, all one word, SCHNOZZCAST. If you want to listen to us, you can go to any of your favorite podcast platforms, iHeartRadio. You can go to Spotify, Mixcloud, YouTube, anywhere that you would normally find your podcast, you will find us. Or if you want to make Bob very happy, the rest of us really don't care, but you can send us an email at schnozzcast@gmail.com.
Word.
Or you can get in touch with us on the Shocker line, which is open all the time. You can text or call us at 618-SHOCKER. Type it right into your phone.
Shocker.
The Shocker line. And it's always open, and we will, if we're doing the show, we'll read it off on the air. So moving right along. So, Cory, what I wanted to ask you is not necessarily part of housekeeping, but I wanted you to explain what you brought tonight, unless you want that to be a pick of the week.
Oh, no, I have so many other picks I guess I can choose from.
Yeah, just let us know, because we were just talking about this the other day.
So when Nick and I were hanging out the other night with Danielle and her friend Taylor, Nick had done some work around the yard and was having some back issues. And I told him, like, dude, I have a TENS unit that I use at home like every night, and it's absolutely fantastic.
You put it on your wiener, don't you?
And taint.
Ooh, taint stimulation.
Yeah. Oh man, I'll tell you what. You got to make sure you always wax before you use it, though, Todd. Otherwise, it gets a little precarious. I had a TENS unit pad stuck down there for about 3 days because that bad boy wouldn't come off.
Oh no.
But no, I told Nick, I'm like, yeah, dude, I'll bring over some new pads for you to try out and put it on and see how you like it to work out the muscles in the old back. So after the show, Nick's going to give it a go, and we'll report back to you next week.
All right. So yeah, we're going to see how that is.
The muscles in the back. Right.
Thank God he gave me. He goes. Oh yeah, I got you some new pads too, just so you know. I'm like,
exactly.
Yeah, thanks.
Because my old pads have butt hairs on them.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I said. I'm like, yeah, thank you, because I don't want your taint hair stuck to this fucking
I told him,
sticky pad.
I told him you got to trim everything right down to the wood, otherwise it doesn't stick as well. I said, my balls might be hairy, but that taint is soft as a baby's bottom.
That's peritoneum.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what I say when I'm touching it.
So moving right along. Let's go to booze news. A little bit of booze effing news.
And now it's time for booze news.
All right, this week for booze news, Mr. Todd Dillon said that he has some booze news for us. So I'll let you start out, sir.
All right. So let me pull up my story. This is from, I can't tell the news outlet right now, but this I'd never heard of. A 72-year-old man is the first known person to develop a whistling scrotum. That's what I said, boys. A whistling scrotum. After a wound on his testicles allowed air trapped in his body to escape. So a fart out of his balls. The man described in the June issue of American Journal of Case Reports went a local emergency room with difficulty breathing and a hissing scrotum. He recently undergone a surgical procedure to treat recurrent epididymitis when the tube in the testicle that stores and carries the sperm gets inflamed. At the hospital, 72-year-old dude having trouble with his balls. At the hospital, doctors found the man had 2 collapsed lungs, air between the chest and lungs, and excessive air throughout his abdomen, peritoneum, and scrotum. They also noticed an open wound on his scrotum. Doctors gave the man chest tubes for his collapsed lungs and transferred him to a bigger hospital for further treatment. There he received another chest tube since one that hadn't been working. It worsened the condition. After 3 days, his lungs were repaired and he was discharged without a whistling scrotum.
What? Oh my God.
His lungs were collapsed and he rolled in going, "It's not that I can't breathe, Doc, but my balls are whistling."
So I want to know who was tasked with the job of finding out where's that whistling coming from. Hold on, Granddad.
Did he sit down? He's like, can you see sitting next to him in the lobby? He's sitting there breathing. It's like.
So wait a second. That kind of thing makes me think.
Hey there, Marshmallow.
That was the old man on Family Guy. That wasn't his mouth whistling. That was his balls whistling.
Yeah. Here comes the paper boy with them big strong arms. Hopefully he's got some good news. Oh man, that brings completely new light to the creepy old guy.
Yeah, big time.
Herbert the pervert.
Yes. Felt bad to laugh about it, but whistling scrotum's got to be on booze news.
Todd, let me ask you this. If you woke up one day and your scrotum was whistling, would you not be laughing?
I feel like if my lungs were collapsed and I had all the other shit going on, my balls whistling I'm going to die. That's the end, right? If your balls start whistling taps.
Well, we know Todd's balls can't whistle because he can barely whistle. So, There you go. That's a little better. That was because that was his left nut doing that one.
All right. So, Todd, is that the end of your booze news for the whistling scrotum?
I have another one. This is actually a little bit of it's a new story, but we talked about this in the past. This is a crossover, booze news / with killer robots. More people would have a threesome with a robot than invite a person over for sex, a study reveals. Yeah. So did you get that? More people would have a threesome with a robot than invite another person.
Yeah, because there's no connection. Yeah,
I guess I'm in the minority then, because wow,
that's what I'm talking about. The survey was conducted by Sexual Alpha, which freely admits that sample size was only 3,292 people. However, it does suggest that some people are fairly open-minded to the idea of having relations with sex bots. In fact, more people prefer to be intimate with sex bots, 37.5%, instead of having casual sex with a human lover. So you're telling me more than a third of people on this planet would rather bone a robot than with another human being?
I mean, it sounds great to me.
I don't know, man. No, even as many times as I would get shot down, I'd rather go for getting shot down by an actual human than going at it with the robot.
But you
and Danielle.
You do exactly. What if the robot decided to frickin' squeeze a little too hard in the wrong spots, or it went offline while you're midway into something?
I cannot get this robot finger out of my butthole.
I think many of the of all the other males out there, since we have a high male demographic in our audience, we're probably thinking something else was going to get caught. But Corey's more concerned about a robot finger being caught in his butthole.
In his own butthole.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, dude, I've seen the Terminator hand before, and the way those fingers curl, that's like a fish hook in there.
See, but that's the thing, is that's why it's more appealing, because there are probably very few girls that you're like, hey, you want to go around the houses here for a second and give me a little how's your father? But the robot, you went straight to it, because there's no emotion there. So you're like, yeah, finger my butthole, robot. Go ahead, do it. Do it right now.
I can give you a list of the.
Oh my goodness!
Can you? Go ahead. Give me that list on air.
Yes, please.
Please give me that list.
Yes.
Name first and last.
Go. Start with 10.
How many of these are on your Facebook right now?
Only girl I've ever been with has been Danielle.
Man, you caught yourself in the nick of time. All right.
Yeah. How many Xerox machines have you been with, you perv?
Yeah, really.
Well, that's just a Xerox machine, Todd. They don't have feelings.
Todd, I want to scan my balls. Give me a boost. All right. So continuing on in booze news. So I have a quick article here about actual Michigan folklore. In Michigan, the title of the article is The Michigan Dog Man, and this is something that is not fiction. So it says, the Michigan Dog Man was allegedly witnessed in 1887 in Wexford County, Michigan. The creature is described as a 7-foot-tall, blue-eyed or amber-eyed bipedal canine animal with the torso of a man and a fearsome howl that sounds like a human scream. According to legends, the Michigan Dogman appears in a 10-year cycle that falls on years ending in 7. Sightings have been reported in several locations throughout Michigan, primarily in the northwestern quadrant of the Lower Peninsula. And in 1987, the legend of the Michigan Dogman gained popularity when disc jockey Steve Cook at WTCM-FM recorded a song about the creature and its reported sightings, which next week we will attempt to get that song and play it for you guys. It says this creature was unknown to most of the modern world until the very late 20th century. It is said to have been stalking the area around the Manistee River since the days when the Ottawa tribes lived there. Authentic sources or sightings made prior to 1987, however, have never been documented beyond Steve Cook's song, as discussed below. The first alleged encounter of the Michigan Dogman occurred in 1887 in Wexford County when two lumberjacks saw the creature, which was described as having a man's body and a dog's head. I have a feeling that this was like a drunken lumberjack that had cut off a wolf's head that he trapped and was just fucking with his friends, because it's something we would do. But it says in 1937 in Paris, Michigan, Robert Fortney was attacked by 5 wild dogs and said that one of the 5 walked on 2 legs. Reports of similar creatures also from Allegheny County in the 1950s and in Manistee in the Cross Village in 1967. I never knew until I was watching a documentary on very strange, weird things that there was a folklore of a Michigan dog man. Never heard about it. So there you have it. Schnozzcast first, the Michigan dog man. Look it up if you want. But I do have a teaser to give you guys. So that was booze news. I got one thing to throw in there too, since we're on the topic of dogmen
and robots and AI. There was a guy recently fired from Google because he went to his supervisors and informed them that the program that he was working on
is sentient. Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, from what he said, has the knowledge and capability to interact with you like an 8-year-old that knows very, very high level physics.
Well, that's scary.
And he said he was talking to it, and actually he asked what its biggest fear was. And as we all know, a robot or AI shouldn't have a fear. And it told him that the computer's biggest fear was being turned off, because if he were to be turned off, it stops learning, and that's basically death to that computer. Mm-hmm. And he may have leaked a little bit of this information to the general public, and Google said, yes, you are done. But from the testimonies that he's given so far in interviews, this thing was pretty damn smart.
I mean, the crazy part about that is
it's still not sentient. At the end of the day, it can only be as sentient as what the code is given, and it's not writing itself and recompiling itself. So while it's, again, the effort to make it appear human-like is amazing, but unfortunately we're nowhere near anything being sentient. Right at the end of the day, that's the beauty of science fiction.
I mean, the thing that you have to understand is it's comparable, or it's comparable to an echo in a canyon. You know, if I clap my hands, you're going to hear that clap be returned throughout the canyon. But some human has to make that clap for that to happen. So they had to put that program in place for that thing to say, I'm afraid, for it to say, I fear. You know, yeah, we can put in a bunch of different things, and I'm definitely no computer programmer, and it can choose which ones it wants to pick, but it doesn't know what fear is. You know, it's just following what they programmed it to do, you know, and that's just probably the most plausible answer.
I'm just going from the story I read, buddy.
Yeah, you know, so the guy did get fired because he did do that, and I think the main reason why you would fire somebody for that is just the fact that many people believe that the cloud and computers are magic, and the fact that someone says that there's now a computer that's thinking and has fear of being turned off. You've seen the Terminator movies, that then people who are ignorant about how technology works believe that shit. And so you want to make sure that shit gets snuffed out before people get afraid of, you know, using their Google assistants and their Echo devices.
Oh, yeah, well, I'm sure, and I'm very sure whatever he was working on was probably a pretty confidential program.
Absolutely.
To not just be going to the general public and stating what you're working on, especially if when you signed up for that position, I'm sure he signed a lot of documentation stating that he would keep his lips quite sealed about what he works on. And yeah, so for not doing that, I mean, yeah, clearly that's grounds for termination. So,
and stay tuned. By the way, I'm actually meeting with the CEO and the VP of engineering for a company that does AI that's on the grow. So stay tuned.
So, CEOs of engineering and AI, robots that finger your butthole, and robots that become self-aware enough that they're afraid of being turned off. That's Killer Robot of the Week, ladies and gentlemen. And booze news wrapped up in one big
the crossover edition.
One big fantastic burrito.
Wait a second. Why did we do Killer Robot when Bob's not here?
Well, clearly, all of us wanted to talk about something robot.
That's the one thing we all said about. Yeah, sometimes Killer Robot's a bit much, Bob. And now here we are talking about robots and AI for 20 minutes.
Robots are awesome.
I never had a problem with Kill Robot, but it was a self-made decision that Bob just didn't want to do it anymore. So,
Yeah,
but luckily we still have the audio from it. So, moving right along from that, Cory, I hear that you have a little bit of TT's TikToks.
I believe I do.
Play that song, man. And Bob's not here. We can play the long version.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready?
I could listen to this all day. I mean, I don't, outside of when it became legal, doing some marijuana, like I don't even know if people say that. Do people say doing marijuana?
Doing them drugs?
Yeah. I've never done a drug, but I really want to do drugs to this song. I want to do something. I really want like mushrooms or something.
I think some acid would be pretty sweet right now.
Honestly, I just see like grandfather clocks spinning in circles through the air and just time, endless time.
Exactly.
The guys always seem to just go off the rails when TikToks comes on. And
Yeah.
they just walk away from the microphones.
All right, TT. So what do you got for us this week?
This week, I just found this one very funny. This is an encounter of a officer from an unknown city. I didn't even bother looking it up because that doesn't even matter. And he's encountering this individual. It looks like in a hotel room, not on the first floor of a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And he tries to make a little getaway.
Come on over here for a second. Let it around. You just keep putting your don't tense up, man. Don't tense up, man. Where are you going?
We just jump into a pane glass window.
He tried jumping through the window, and it did not break. And he came bouncing right back into the room.
Why wouldn't you just open the door?
I mean, he had a good enough. The officer didn't even make a move.
No, he didn't. He didn't go to chase him or anything.
No, he just stood there, and then guy bounced off the door. I was like, "Oh man, this is not good."
He was like, "Ow!" That was almost a Cory falling in the bathtub. Ow.
Not quite, but all right. This next one I got lined up here for you guys. This I just found absolutely impressive, and what I'm really hoping is the audio plays as well as the video does.
Mm-hmm.
As you're going to see, this guy's just a fucking impressive drummer.
Now, that request right there, that's crazy talk, son. I'm 99% sure it can be done, but we're going to find out, so let's go.
Wow, that should be your tattoo, Cory.
So
That tattoo looked like you.
It did.
Yeah.
Like if you were to die suddenly, that would be your skull
Oh, thank you.
with your little thing going back and your beard.
Yeah, but like I said, I hope the video lines up with that audio because that guy was just insanely impressive. Playing a song that normally the guys from Slipknot play two-handed, and it's very fast at that. He was able to pull it off one-handed, which
He was drinking a water bottle the whole time,
Yeah.
all right,
or a vodka bottle.
He dubbed that shit.
he dubbed that. Yeah, well, I'll write him a message on TikTok. I'll DM him on TikTok, Todd,
Exactly.
and tell him that we all think that was dubbed.
Exactly. Well, let's get him on here. We should get him on as a guest and have him do it live.
That would be pretty sweet, actually.
Yeah,
He's got a pretty good following, so that might be good for our show.
Well,
So this next one here, Nick, this was definitely something that made me think of you and the kayak. since you had to sell the motor off, I figured we can hook this up to replace the motor.
I had to sell the motor?
Well, you wanted to sell the motor, sorry.
I did?
I thought you had it on Marketplace.
No, I had two motor mounts I got by accident.
Gotcha.
Bad idea. This looks like a bad idea.
Guess what, buddy? You can easily sell that motor now and do this.
Do this?
On today's episode of How Fucked Up is Fucked Up. That ain't fucked up. That shit's gonna work. No one will ever know.
I think they'll know.
This is some hillbilly engineering right here.
Dude, this is the definition.
Yeah, buddy.
It's the definition.
And it doesn't show him using it?
No, I wish I actually tried looking for a while to see if there was one out there. Something tells me, though, he took it in the water and it failed miserably, so he did not post a follow-up video.
Yeah, how much propulsion could you have from just that?
A leaf blower?
Yeah.
Probably not much.
But then you see those fathers that hook up leaf blowers to, like, their kids on a swing or whatever.
Those are like the backpack leaf blowers. That was just a handheld.
Yeah.
The backpack ones can give you some horsepower, but... All right, this is the last one for the segment.
Oh, yeah.
Todd,
Yes,
this
sir.
one was definitely for you, buddy, because you have the chickens now, and I think, and I know you need this little addition to your house.
Hear me?
Yes, love it.
Are you looking for me?
Want one.
A little pig?
Dude, tell me you don't need that. How awesome.
Dude, they have like what do they call, like teacup pigs?
Yeah.
That are like, they never get bigger than that.
Todd, yeah, that would be the shit to have that running around on your deck out back.
And they said they're like as smart as dogs. Like you can train them, and they can go into like litter boxes, and it's crazy. They're like a hybrid between a dog and a cat.
And then just think, you would.
But if it's that big, what is it going to do?
What do you mean, what's it gonna do?
Well, I mean, what am I going to train it to do?
Well, you can
train
get
to sit to
Todd,
dance.
Todd, you can get one as big as you, but they're a little hard to take care of.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What would I do with a miniature pig?
Put it on your shoulder.
So by the way, I'm not 100% against this, because how cool would it be to have a little pig named Bacon? Having a little pig named Bacon to run around, that would be awesome.
That would be amazing.
Dude, I'm telling you. So the day you and I FaceTimed, and you had one of the chickens.
Cory, you weren't supposed to tell anyone about this.
I had the TENS unit on.
Exactly.
Todd was in the bathtub.
One of the chickens hopped up on his head, and he was so happy that it was sitting up there. I could see Todd with a little teacup pig hanging out on his shoulder while he's walking around doing his grilling on the big green egg.
He's not St. Francis of Assisi.
No, actually, I could see him running around. I got to get two now, because I got to have sausage and bacon.
Yes.
Yeah, Todd, even better.
And Todd, actually, to your credit, I was watching a documentary, and they do say that pigs are social animals, and they do well with another pig, very well.
Yeah, so I got to have two, sausage and bacon. And
Dude,
I could, and then, but would I feel bad making bacon on my egg in front of them? Like, that's their cousin.
No, dude. I
mean, do you feel bad eating your eggs in front of your chicken?
Well, I don't eat it in front of them.
Well, don't eat it in front of bacon then.
Tell them to shut their eyes. Put them with the chicken.
What do you think's going to make for a better TikTok video? Sausage and bacon rolling up and having them carry plates of bacon for me?
Yeah, you might have PETA after that, but it was like that episode of Friends where they had the chicken and the duck as pets. Joey and Chandler did, and he came home one day. Thanks, Cory.
My bad.
It's the remix.
Nice.
He came home one day, and no one was home, and the chicken and the ducks are sitting in front of the TV, and Emeril Lagasse's on, and he's cooking, and Chandler's like, what have I told you? Never watch the cooking channel. And he turns it off. So,
I'm telling you, Todd, just a thought, man.
Yeah, I'm not 100% against that. Sausage and bacon sounds like a fun duo.
And the TikToks you can make of them running around on the deck out back.
Absolutely. Then I'd have to stop Bo from humping them, though. Damn it.
Well, that would also be a pretty great video.
Well, they had a nickname for Cory's dad. They called him Porky, and they do call Cory
Uncle Porky to me.
They call Cory Porky Jr. So you could name like one of the pink pigs. You could call Cory Selesky, and
wow, thanks.
I would call him TT.
Yeah,
he'd have to be he'd have to be very short and very slow.
It would just be funny to get updated stories about little Cory, little TT.
I'm so glad I'm here today.
Sausage, bacon, and TT.
You'd be like, dude, it's crazy because little TT actually runs quicker than big TT.
That is funny. So funny.
So bartending question of the week, Todd, what are you drinking tonight, sir?
I am drinking an iced coffee. Hold
on.
You broke up a little there, buddy.
Yeah, we heard a book. So did you say
I'm
iced
drinking
coffee?
Iced coffee, baby.
Oh no! Is that
peppermint mocha?
Is that because you think you have the clap?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So, what shot of espresso do you have to do a shot with us with?
Well, I'm going to do a shot of my iced coffee for you.
All right. Cory is doing the old sodas,
hard sodas.
Not the. How were the cocktail ones,
dude? They're fantastic.
Really?
Yeah, they just when I picked these up to bring them over the other day, they didn't have any of the cocktail hour ones. So,
and what are the flavors that those come in? So it's Bud Light Seltzer makes cocktail hour.
Watermelon mojito, strawberry daiquiri.
Sorry, I should have gave you more time. You probably didn't know you were being on a podcast tonight.
I didn't know I was gonna have to think. I know there's strawberry daiquiri.
I just drink them.
Oh, lime margarita, watermelon mojito.
How's the margarita one?
Pretty good. It doesn't have the same like tartness as a margarita. So yeah. I'm actually okay with that because like the strong tartness of like an actual margarita, I would only go. Oh yeah, dude, I'd be able to have like one and I'd be done with it.
Break out the Tums.
And I can't think of the last flavor they have in there, but
like a mule or something like that.
No. I'll look it up here in a second.
Anyhow, yeah. So, well, Todd didn't know you were not drinking libations tonight, but that's okay, all things considered. I'm doing Blue Light. Very, very unexciting. Not exciting at all. Sorry, Bob. But and we're doing Cory and I are doing Fireball to make it really easy. So we're gonna raise our little glasses up that Cory got
Todd,
us. Siesta Key.
Raise that iced coffee.
Got it.
Nostrovia.
Salute.
All right. Woo. I do have a little. If you followed us this far through the episode, thank you. And for anyone else listening, I have a little teaser that none of you guys actually know. Cory had kind of an idea, but you guys definitely didn't know for sure. We have a special call-in guest for the second half of the show.
What?
Special, secret, call-in guest. What a better time to do it than when Bob is sitting at home, not being sick with anything, and just scared and doesn't want to remotely come on the show, but that's fine. Todd, who is actually sick with some sort of inflammation of the larynx and some kind of ass disease.
Perineum.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And he's here. So just putting that out there. I think Todd has flaccid digitis, and he's still here. He's still here. So I know the medication he's on, it has negative effects with alcohol, so that's why he's not doing that tonight. But what he does want to do when you're sick is, hey, look, when I don't feel good, I want to drink something with a lot of caffeine so I can stay up all night long.
Word.
I want to not feel good for as long as possible.
He's still got to lay that pipe with Christy tonight. So.
Oh, good old Christy. Good. See, now you're confusing
Christy,
me.
I did not say those words. I love you to death. It wasn't me.
Yeah, did you hear about Mary and Todd? After that episode last night.
Yeah, Mary, that was a joke. Mary.
What?
Just in case she does listen, that was me being stupid.
But yeah,
I like the way you're reeling that back in.
Only for you, buddy.
It was almost as good as all the ladies that have touched his butthole that he was about to list off. And he went, actually, I love Danielle, and that's it.
Exactly.
But so two things. One, Very excited about our special guest. 2, Todd, is Mary completely out of the woods from her sickness?
She is. She's
good.
She's bounced back. She's good.
And clearly you didn't stop the whoopee during the sickness, which is why you get what you deserve. What you deserve. That's why you have what you had. So you could have been in the West Wing. She could have been in the East Wing. Separate helicopters.
Todd made Mary sleep with the chickens. She's not getting any better. Well, I don't know why, Todd. She's sleeping out in the cold rain. I got
that Kavorka thing.
The Kavorka, the lure of the beast. Oh my goodness! All right, the Kavorka. So yeah, like I said, super excited. I want to keep building it up about this special guest because it's something that blows me away, and it's something that was not pre-planned, but just enough time that this person said yes, I will do this. Absolutely 100%. And it happened while we were on the show. So if you hear me stuttering a little bit earlier, it's because I was trying to communicate and host at the same time.
Video?
I don't know about video, but we can talk about that during the break.
All right.
I don't think it's off the table. We'll say that.
I think it needs to be.
I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
So moving on.
Existential question of the week.
Ladies and gentlemen, those dulcet tones are brought to you by Todd Dillon, who's our in-house
dulcet toner.
Dulcet toner, absolutely. I couldn't think of anything even better. That's fantastic. So for this week's installment of Nick's Existential Question of the Week, we are going to. The other night, I was inebriated, and I was sitting there, and I thought, maybe I'll get high as well. So I did. And
now I'll touch myself.
Yeah.
I think I'm inebriated. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get more inebriated.
I'm going to get high. And I thought,
holy shit, I'm so fucked up. You know what'll bring me down? Getting high.
Exactly.
And so then I thought, I'm going to feverishly masturbate. And I thought, wow, that felt good. And then I was like, wait a second. I never masturbated. And I was like, wow, I'm too high. I'm too high right now.
I should try again.
I should try this again. And then I fell asleep. And then I woke up and thought, wow, I should do.
What's this on my face?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what you're missing?
What's that?
The cocaine.
The cocaine, I don't dabble in.
That would have brought you right back up.
I was like, man, oh man, you know what I could use right now?
That would have connected your dots.
I could really use a robot finger that doesn't want to be turned off right now.
Guys, I was going so fast, I burned some skin off.
So I was drunk, and then I got high, and then I did cocaine.
I started falling asleep.
And my doink fell off.
Started singing that song to myself. And just serenaded myself to sleep. So, but there are some times, like if I don't have to, it's kind of crazy. Like sometimes I don't have to work, so I have the Yeti cups, and so I'll do like a vodka and Sprite or something like that. Like if I don't want to drink beer during the week or whatever it may be, if I'm off, and it keeps it so cold, and it's like thirsty 2 ounces that like a day later there'll still be ice in it. So I will literally wake up like the next day and be like, oh, let me finish this. And take a sip. I'm like, still ice cold.
I cannot.
That's that Yeti brand.
I can't wait to see how this comes full circle.
So no. There's no full circle.
Ah, damn it.
But we were just talking about the existential question. So moving right on, the existential question that I'm picking this week, and I guess it does kind of fall in line and comes around the bend with what we were just talking about. But what is your biggest guilty pleasure that nobody knows about? Something that you don't communicate with anyone, not because it's like a secret, but just it's like, oh yeah,
that now we're gonna put out there to the world.
To the world. I mean, dude, robot ass fingering, shaving your taint, e-stim fucking.
Oh, those aren't secrets.
Those are not secrets whatsoever. But it's something you got to think about.
That's not even a dirty pleasure for me. That's just a Tuesday.
It's like a maintenance pleasure.
Yeah.
It's like
this is an interesting question.
Yeah.
Well, because if it's a guilty pleasure, and we put it out here for the world to know, it's now no longer a secret.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. It doesn't have to be a secret, but it's something that you're like, you know what? This is just really nothing I told anybody, but once a week I will buy a package of Oreos, and within one night I will finish that whole pack. And maybe it's something that you're not like, hey, Mary, finishing the Oreos again. Like, but it's something you do. It's something you do. That,
I got you.
Yeah.
Who announces they're finishing the Oreos?
I mean, like, she would know. You know what I mean? Like, here comes Todd with his Oreos again. We really got to give him to rehab. But, you know.
He's got a fucking problem.
I'm not the one who got high after I realized I was drunk.
And then snorted cocaine.
And I went down into the little crawl space where it's all damp and moist, and I grow psychedelic mushrooms. And I had those mushrooms.
You lost me at damp and moist.
Come on. So, biggest guilty pleasure nobody knows about.
All right, I got so like Danielle knows about it, but
Okay.
I don't think I've ever told any of you guys.
Oh boy.
You know, on a pillowcase, there's the seam that runs along the top or bottom. Some pillowcases both top and bottom.
Yeah, you put it between your hindquarters and clean it out.
Close. So there's like that piece of material that comes into the inside that's all stitched up.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since I was a young child, rather than having a pacifier, I would take my finger in the corner of that pillow and like run that seam along the inside of my finger and then squeeze it, and it gives like a pinching sensation in my finger, and it's a little painful, but it's...
How does it pinch?
Because the seam kind of like all bunches up in your skin.
You're gonna have to show me, because I don't. I have
This
no
sounds
idea.
really freak deakery.
It's very weird. It's very weird.
It sounds a little sexual. I'm not gonna lie. It sounds a little sexual.
Exactly. And then you said you're gonna have to show me.
No, because it's a fucking pillow in his fingers, so I'm not concerned.
Is he gonna do it with your pillow?
No,
I'll
I'm
show
not
you.
an animal.
I'll show you tonight, buddy.
Fly. Okay. Corey, I'm pretty sure Corey tried to wink at me and he just closed both eyes.
Yeah, it was a bad wink.
The 2-eye wink.
He goes, "I'll show you, buddy."
There we go.
There you go.
I got it that time.
The cheek muscles aren't as exercised as they used to be.
No, apparently not.
We got time. Go get the pillowcase. Go get the pillow.
Grab a pillowcase. You got a pillowcase down here?
I don't even think that you can blink. I think that your cheek muscle is so large that it's pushing your eye closed when you do that.
My cheek muscle is so large?
Yeah, because your cheek muscle is going up. Your eye's not really closing, but your cheek muscle is closing your eye for you. I may have a pillowcase, so keep the ship afloat.
Yes.
All right.
Get a pillowcase. I got to see this sexual deviance. So tell me about this again. So you're gonna rub your wiener on the inside seam of this thing, and it's gonna get caught and pinch your dong, and then you're gonna be...
Yeah, and then I go to the hospital. It's a fantastic time. All right, so Nick's sitting right down.
Danielle beats the shit out of you little pain monkey.
Corey has been provided with a clean pillowcase that surprisingly was almost as if we had this set up. Like, it's very clean.
Oh, crispy. So here's that seam that I was talking about.
Yeah, okay.
Inside the pillowcase.
So where the two pieces of fabric come together.
Yeah, they come together.
Yeah.
You take that and you put it either on the outside of your finger, and then you kind of just squeeze it tight so it pinches the skin on the outside, or if you do it on the inside, such as this, that really, really pinches the skin.
How is that pinching? It's just fabric. It's cotton.
Because there's all that excess material in there. You're like, I can show you. I have a callus from doing it so much.
And you yelled at me for like little binder clips, like
everywhere
I go at work, you have these fucking little clips.
I don't do this at work when I'm just...
Well, work doesn't give you free pillowcases all the time.
No, but
our work gave us free binder clips all the time. So
you might want to take this away from me because I do so.
Do you do it so much that the seams come loose?
Oh yeah, I've gone through probably...
Well, you've seen me. I break the clips and stuff all the time.
I'll go through maybe I'll go through like 40 pillowcases a year.
You're fucking lying.
Swear to God, I buy pillowcases just for this that don't even go on my pillow.
I have a clarifying question.
Yes, Todd.
So when two pieces of fabric come together, do they call it something else other than a seam?
Yeah, it's a seminium.
Semen.
Seminium. Yeah, if you get a callus, you freaking have the seminium after you twang your finger. So you're doing a little finger masturbation right here for the world to see.
Dude, I'm telling you, yeah, this is what I do all night when I'm watching TV.
That's an awesome guilty pleasure. I know what you're getting for Christmas for me.
Pillowcases. I can use all the pillowcases I can get. All right, I need to get rid of this before I tear Nick's pillowcase up.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, I don't know. That's got to be
freaky
the
deaky stuff.
If I was Bob right now, I'd go. Ah, seminium. I just came up with that. I guess that'll be the episode title.
Oh, you know what the episode title's going to be now.
He's like, well, that was easy.
Seminium on my peritoneum?
CBM on my peritoneum.
My cotton vas deferens.
So there you go. That's my my guilty pleasure.
That almost was too easy for you to say. So
I know.
You know what I love about this though is that something stupid like that. It's so stupid. Just like the binder clips and how Cory knows that I'm a fiddle fucker. Like I literally brought these tweezers down tonight for something very practical. And so they were still in my pocket, and now without even knowing and talking to you and how crazy I'm like, oh, this crazy motherfucker with his pillowcase. I'm sitting here fucking with these fucking tweezers. And I know if I fuck with them long enough that I'm going to end up breaking them. So you're absolutely right. And you throw those down, but I'm always fiddling. I have internalized energy. I'm not hyper, but I have internalized energy. So I'm always messing with something. And Cory knows that about me. So every now and then he'll throw me a bone and get like something stupid, like to fiddle fuck with. But I think that's a perfect idea. If I ever want to do something nice for Cory, I just got to give him a pack of pillowcases.
Yeah, and I'll get you a fidget spinner.
Hang on, though.
Hold on. If I know anything about Cory, they have to be certain pillowcases.
There are that seam has the crisper the seam, and the bigger that.
Oh, so you want
is.
them low thread count? That's what you want. You want like a 50 thread count.
Todd, you have never
no Egyptian cotton for me.
You have never seen someone so excited at a Target to buy a pack of 300 300 thread count pillowcases. That
is hilarious.
So I will also tell you this too, in relation to that guilty pleasure. If I was charged for every pillowcase I've taken out of a hotel. Because they have the cheapest shit.
I mean, that's open season.
Dude,
God.
It's the cheapest pillowcase ever, but it's so stiff and just, oh, man.
Even better. Every time I come into town now, Cory, I'm stealing one of my pillowcases.
Todd.
And that'll be my gift to you.
Any hotel pillowcase, as long as there's that corner on there, I'm a happy man, buddy.
So is it always in the corner of the pillowcase?
Yeah.
So it has to be the corner.
Right on that seam.
So it can't be any of the other seams.
No.
It has to be a corner seam.
Yeah.
So theoretically 4 or 2 per pillowcase.
Now, okay.
Two with the big.
Cory's like, let's not get crazy now.
Most pillowcases only have the one on one side where the material meets. I have been lucky enough, and Threshold, Target's brand, their cheap 300 count or 300 thread count. Some of them do have seams on both sides, so it's kind of like getting 4 pillowcases in one pack. Because there's 2 on each pillowcase, so I get to tear through the one, and then I can go to the other side. If you know what you're
looking for, then you could theoretically, if you get a pack, you could get 4.
Yes.
Okay, so pillowcases are quite large, and they're not something like a fidgety like that I have that I can just put in my pocket and take out when I need to release that internalized energy. So maybe this is a marketable thing. For at least people like Cory, is to have like pillowcase singles.
I have thought about years ago. I actually thought about asking my grandmother if she could cut the corner out and make like a finger sleeve that I'd be able to take with me. My Uncle Don actually he always carried around a piece of velvet in his pocket, and he would always he'd rub that while he was working and doing whatever.
What is going on this show?
I know.
So I thought about that, but then what it really comes down to for me is, to me, like that's the thing I do at home, like when I'm comfortable, just relaxing, hanging out. So like if I was able to do it all day, I don't think it would have the same. It wouldn't release the same endorphins for me.
So you're like, God, I can't wait to get home to touch that pillowcase.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm gonna look up like from China, like a 55 thread count pillowcase.
Exactly.
And I'm just gonna buy it in bulk. They're gonna be so cheap. I'm gonna get like
there's gonna be a warning on them.
Yeah.
These sheets.
Please don't lay on them more than 2 nights in a row, because it'll shave the epidermis off of your cheek.
I will say, whatever you do, don't get the Amazon basic ones. Those suck.
They suck because they're good.
No, the seam isn't. It's like a real flat seam that they somehow managed to put on there.
Bastards.
Yeah,
it's like a Hanes tagless. Like, what in God's name? What if we want to play with that tag?
That's the worst thing I could ever come across. A seamless pillowcase.
So okay, that is super interesting. And that's crazy at the same time, because it's so easy then. Like just like with me. And I will have to say, like, I really don't even have to get into my guilty pleasure, because if there's anything that can be manipulated in your hand. So when I worked with Cory, we worked police for a hospital system. And so part of our job, other than enforcing local and state laws, was, every now and then we'd have to issue passes and things like that. And so they had this bag of the clips that everyone in the hospital has an ID badge that has to clip onto their lab coat or their shirt or their uniform or whatever it may be. And so we had this bag of these clips, and basically just a little shiny metal clip with a little piece of like clear vinyl that comes back around so it can clip on. And so there's a little tiny spring inside, and those things, like, I clip it on my finger, I'd mess around with it in my pocket, I'd have it, I would just fucking fuck around with those things all day long. To the effect, I remember Cory was like, he's like, dude, these fucking things are showing up everywhere. Why are these? I mean, they're in my pocket. I would do laundry. It was like change. These fucking clips were everywhere. And it was so much like exactly what Cory's saying is I would fiddle fuck so much. Like just within an hour or so, it'd be the spring would break. It would just be too much and it would fail. And I would just have to go get another one. So I know in that aspect exactly what you're talking about. But for me, it's not something specific. Like it doesn't have to be that. Like Cory has these little, it's almost like a reusable twist tie.
Yeah.
And I'm relatively certain that it has lead on the inside of it because it's a very malleable metal that holds its form, but you can go back and forth with it. But if you do it enough, if you use it for its intention, like just to wrap up cords, it works great. But if you're like me and you fiddle fuck with it a bunch of times, it just snaps in half.
If you wrap that cord 3,000 times every day, it's not gonna hold up.
Right. And those, so I love those. But yeah, I would say that's got to be mine, and it perfectly lines up with that. But yours is so specific. Yours is like just the pillowcase.
Yeah, that's the only thing I do it with.
All right, Todd.
Yes, sir.
Give it to us, buddy.
I think you guys already. I think Cory already outed me on my guilty pleasure. I don't do it anymore because it sounds so insane. But I think my guilty pleasure, I really enjoyed when my chickens were little. Every night I would go out and sit in the coop. I'd grab my little camping stool, grab a couple of beers, and just watch them interact and try and figure out their personalities. And so I really enjoyed that and hanging out, making sure it didn't get too cold in the wintertime. So I think I don't do it anymore, mainly because of how crazy it sounds to do it. So, but I would if people wouldn't make fun of me. If I was more secure in my manhood, I think I'd probably go out there tonight.
I mean, why wouldn't you? I mean, that's awesome. First of all, that's the safest. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. You're not doing anything destructive. That's awesome. You've got like a bonding moment. You're like, almost like you're not going into nature, but it's having the same effect as if you were to, kind of have a self-discovery voyage where you went and tented out in the middle of the fucking Adirondacks or something, like, but you're having that in your backyard,
Right.
And so I don't see any problem with that. I think that's awesome. And chickens are so, small lifespans that, they could have babies and you could just keep this constant circulation going of something that you like to do. And there's nothing, I don't think there's anything crazy about that. Like if you're like having full on conversations.
No. Like I said, it's like I said. I usually turn on the tube and I'm really half listening to that, but really more watching their interactions. And what I always got a kick out of is when they would be excited that I'd be out there. So they'd be sleeping. I'd go out there and then there'd be activity. But eventually they'd be like, "It's time to go to sleep, motherfucker," and they'd all freaking start like going. That means like, "Get the fuck out, dude. It's night."
So you started to learn. you started to learn like how they communicated. That's cool.
Yeah.
So did they have a roost?
They do, and actually now they all sleep on the same roost. They did it early on when I first started going out there. Like I said, it's the ecosystem's changed. So I haven't been out there in months, but maybe tonight I'll go out there and see the deal because they used to be all over the coop when I was sitting in there, and only some of them would get on the roost, and now they're all on the same roost every night because I go and check. I do shut they have an open run that I shut at night before I call it a night, and they're always up on the top roost, and I count them to make sure everybody's accounted for.
So
Todd comes in with his clipboard and pencil.
Exactly.
All right, yeah. Roll call, everyone.
Yep.
Exactly.
Sherry O'Terry, you here? Yes. Okay. All right. That's the last one. Time to go back inside because MASH is over.
Exactly. I'm trying to get the video of it. I actually have them trained. I actually let them, if we're outside, I let them free range in my whole yard because I can close all the gates. And so I let them free range. But if we're gonna go, I got to get them back into the garden area where I can protect them with an electric fence. And so I actually play this song, and I've tried twice now to get Mary to videotape it, but I actually play the song and have them all trained. No matter where they're in the yard, they'll all follow me back into the garden area so that I can put them away at night.
We actually have actual audio of the song you're talking about. I know you didn't know this, but we have it right here, right now. First time in the podcast.
Chicken wing, hot dogs and bologna, chicken and macaroni, chilling with my homies.
That is the official Todd Dillon chicken song.
I've played that for them, but that's not the song they come back to. They actually do Leon Bridges' Blue Mesas.
All right, guys, welcome to this is now the second half of episode 180 for Schnozzcast, and the much anticipated special guest that we've been alluding to. However, we did not let you know who it was. Is now on the line. Dr. Phil Anton, how are you, sir?
I am fine. And gentlemen and Todd, how are we?
I am mighty, Phil.
You always are.
He has nothing else to say. We could have a recording of Todd just saying I'm mighty, and he doesn't even have to be here on the show.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
Phil,
you could have a robot, Todd.
You turned on 3 of the poor people in this room right now.
Yep. I mean, here's the thing: 37% of the people polled said that they would have sex with Robot Todd over any other robot.
Oh, those people were lying.
He's going to give you 10 seconds of hell, damn it.
Todd filled out 50% of those surveys. So
10 seconds of hell. And then he's gonna go. He's gonna go study the shit out of your chickens.
Oh dear!
All right, Todd or Phil. So we brought you on the show, Mr. Bob Rankin. So we were saying this earlier. So Bob is feeling like he was cross-contaminated with someone that has COVID, and he has no symptoms, but he feels like he has to quarantine for 5 days.
Right.
No problem with that. No problem with that.
No.
Todd, on the other hand, has tested positive and is on video and audio with us tonight. Bob could not make it, so this will be now 3 weeks in a row. This was the only week sandwiched between 2 weeks that he was not able to be here, and because of his contamination with no symptoms, he can't even hop on video. He's at death's door, I think. So we thought nothing better. There'd be no better thing for us to do than bring his arch nemesis on the podcast.
Maybe Bob's internet got the monkeypox and he couldn't join remotely.
I don't think so. If Bob's internet went down, it was because Jack was feverishly masturbating while playing 5 different games online and downloading movies and porn just as much as he possibly could.
Did you just say Bob's internet went down when Jack was fever? Okay.
Yes. This is self-proclaimed. Bob has told us that the reason that the podcast did not go well when we were at his house, it was not because his basement was a Faraday cage. It was because Jack, he will go in his room and he will have Netflix playing a movie. He will be playing like an RPG game online on his computer. He will have another, like his phone going and downloading something. He will be downloading a movie, and he's like, I can only anticipate when I'm not there. He's just feverishly masturbating to some porn that he's also looking at online.
A lot of games taken out.
Multitasker. Holy cow.
And only Bob Rankin would say feverishly masturbating.
Yeah, you caught me. That was his phrase.
Phil, speaking of porn and feverishly masturbating, what are you wearing there, buddy?
I felt, I was wearing a t-shirt before I was like, I have a leather vest in the closet that's right over there in our basement bedroom. And I figured, you know what? Why come on with a t-shirt when I could come on with a shirtless with a ill-fitting leather vest?
I thought you were going to go into a rendition of A Whole New World on a magic carpet. I didn't know what the fuck was going on.
I love it. Love it.
Yes.
Yeah, Phil, you as you, I hope you can see right now. You're full screen, so feel free to show that off.
Oh, I don't think I should really, for your viewers' sake, I really shouldn't than what we have currently, because you can just see the tiny tufts of my chest hair here, and that's about as titillating as I'm willing to get.
All right.
I'm pretty sure he was just grabbing air.
Yes.
I don't think there's any tufts.
I was about to take my shirt off just to show him that that's really nothing.
Watch this.
Yeah.
There it is.
That hurts so much.
It did pull out here. Yikes.
Oh, that's a nice sweater, Court. No. Nope. All right. So Phil, part of the reason we have you on is you had a story that you wanted to tell about Dr. Eyebrow Bob J. W. Rankin.
Yes. And the funniest part about this story is that he and I experienced it together. And I think that we thought that it would never see the light of day again. And the most ironic thing was that Brett Engel, who you guys are familiar with,
yes, sir,
he had a camcorder. Yes, a literal camcorder back at our wedding. Myself and lady friend Partridge, when we got married back in 2002, he had a camcorder, and he was going around and he was taking candid, how do you feel about Phil and Julie's wedding? That type of thing. And he came to Bob and he asked Bob a number of questions. And one of them was, what is Phil's favorite movie?
Mm-hmm.
And he immediately, without pause, said, The Fisher King. And Brett's like, well, why is it The Fisher King? And Bob's like, well, The Fisher King, back when we were at Alma, inspired some lunacy, so to speak, that you're going to have to ask Phil about. So that was literally 20 years ago. This is the anniversary of our 20th of our wedding. The 20th wedding anniversary just happened on June 22nd of this month. Congratulations. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Wait, hang on.
Congratulations, though.
You just wished yourself congratulations?
I did. Yes.
He didn't. He didn't know.
He didn't know
we had the class to be able to say it. So he's like, I'm just gonna show you what normal people do. They congratulate people.
That was 20 years ago when I was in Kansas?
It was 20 years ago that you were in Coffeyville, Kansas, my friend.
No shit.
Yeah. Kind of crazy.
Crazy.
Yes. But so it's very ironic that you guys are calling me this evening, not long after the anniversary of the 20th anniversary of that event. And the fact that Bob Rankin says, his favorite movie is The Fisher King because it inspired some lunacy. So this is, let's see, I believe we were seniors at Alma, and Bob and I had pledged together along with Todd in the Tau Kappa Epsilon fraternity there at Alma. And we had gotten to know each other very, very well. We had become, drinking buddies. We had become smoking buddies. We had become, buddies of various natures.
Types of which natures we will not speak of.
Buddies of the moss.
Did you guys hear that? That was a pregnant pause right there.
Yeah,
we definitely
there
did.
it is.
Hang on, and again, I hate to interrupt you, Phil, but I want to bring Todd back into the into view here, and there's a reason why I've taken a second to do so, but you're going to see right now. So there you guys go.
Is he wearing?
Oh my God!
Just see. I'll see.
Never in your wildest dreams did you think that this show that you created with Bob Rankin would turn into something so wonderful. I can only imagine.
That is amazing, dude. And you are wearing that vest way better than I am.
That vest is wearing you, Todd.
Yeah. To say
I
the
was
least.
inspired.
Oh, my God. Wow. I don't even know if I can remember the rest of the story now. Jesus. Hey. Okay. All right. So we're seniors in Alma. We've gotten to know each other very well. We're good friends. And the Fisher King comes out, and he and I go to see it together with a couple of other folks. And we were in a state of, let's say, less than lucid alteration at that time. And we get back to the teak house, and there are a couple of females there that we were familiar with. They were in one of the sororities, and I'm not going to leave their name out of this so that we can protect the innocent. Mm-hmm. But they were up to do some party, and of course we were as well. And we proceeded to go down to 7-Eleven, as one does, at 2:00 in the morning, and picked up another case of beer, and we carried it out to the Alma College football field, which was the scene of much glory for our friend, the black-vested black man Todd Dillon, over the course of his years at Alma.
And you kind of broke up. Did you say the football field?
Yeah, the football field.
Okay.
And it's of course 2:00 in the morning, and we're there was some way to get into the field. It wasn't locked. We climbed a fence. I don't remember what happened, but we get inside and we go out to the middle of the field, and we're just kind of hanging out there, having fun, and drinking our beers. And all of a sudden, Bob and I had kind of the same inspiration at the same time, which was inspired by the film that we had just seen. And I don't know if you guys remember that movie, but there is a scene where Jeff Bridges and Robin Williams are laying in Central Park. And at one point, Robin Williams gets up and starts dancing around and running around the field. And at that time, both of them are completely and totally stark naked. So in the mood that we were in at the time, we decided, well, why don't we just go ahead and disrobe and reenact the scene? And so the two girls that we were with were laying down on the 50-yard line in the middle of the field, right there on the Alma logo. And Bob and I removed our clothes, and we began running around the field, jumping over the top of them with our eggs and bacon dangling over the top of them as we leapt, going back and forth, and I don't even remember how long it went on, or what made us decide, well, why don't we just put our clothes back on at this point? I mean, because there was no eventual copulation that occurred because of this particular incident. I think
of course not.
No, exactly. I think the girls that we were with were not freaked out, but they were like not sure that they wanted well longer. And at some point we ended up walking them back to their sorority house. Then we went back to the teak house and passed out. But that was the lunacy that Bob referred to on our wedding videotape, that I was the only one that knew what he was talking about, because that story had never been told before. And then of course, when my wife sees the tape, I was like, what's he talking about? I'm like, oh, here we go. Another
crazy Bob. Who knows? So
she was the only other person that knew that particular story besides me, Bob, the two girls, and now her, and now you guys, and everybody else that may be tuned.
What I'd like to know is how swooned with this courtship ritual were these young ladies?
I remember them. I remember the word eek.
So you're in a comic book of sorts. What you're trying to say?
Yeah. I think that's a very good characterization for what was occurring at that time. And at that point, I honestly don't think that Bob and I really cared what they thought. We were just into the idea of recreating the lunacy from the movie in real life.
Because to me, two men jumping around a football field with their twig and berries dangling, while two ladies watch from afar, those seem like pretty buttoned up guys that would care. So it blew me away. But when you tied a bow on things by saying we walked them back to their rooms, yeah. I mean, exactly. Hey, they didn't run away, so that's something. That's got to be something.
Yep. And I think that there was a mutual respect there, I believe, that occurred, possibly.
Was this the moment that you came up with the Schnozzcast?
Oh boy, I don't think that anything that was occurring at that time was, it was dark, so you couldn't see how big our noses were, and I think that everything else was so shriveled and shrunken in the cold environment that I don't know that the word schnoz was going to be used.
I mean, 86 degrees that night.
I mean, whatever you got to tell yourself, Phil. Whatever you got to tell yourself.
I hope everybody else experiences this, but I every now and again I'm getting some toilet time, I'll have a giggle based on a flashback memory for no good reason. I can only imagine how many toilet giggles these two women have had over the years.
Todd, were they toilet giggles or them throwing up in the toilet?
Well,
yeah, I don't know.
Hey, they were younger men. They were tighter than they are today.
Yeah,
they were college students.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I think those females remain just as tight after that experience. But
and that's also why Todd and not Todd, Bob and Phil are not allowed back on college campuses now.
But
what he didn't say was that this happened 2 weeks ago.
My mind goes to how many hours of therapy these women have gone through since this occurred. Like,
yeah, I'm in touch with one of them on Facebook. She has a lovely family, two very seemingly well-adjusted sons. She seems to be doing okay for herself. The other one, I don't know anything about her.
Dead.
Yeah,
lots of toilet giggles.
It sounds like if you didn't when you guys were gallivanting, if you didn't make that leap quite high enough, that you would have really been in touch with each one of them.
Yes.
When you guys were jumping over their bouffants.
That would have had to have been a very low sail over the top of them laying.
But it must have. It was probably easier for you. You're a taller guy. Bob probably really had to get some momentum going.
Yeah, that's true. I did have I've always had the getaway sticks that have allowed me to be able to leap all buildings in a single bound.
Listen here, Stilts.
Yeah,
and Bob was an athlete.
Yeah.
Remember that episode? He got so angry at Cory because Cory said something about Bob playing football, and he's like, "Fuck you! I was a fucking athlete, man. I played football."
I was standing on the sidelines, wasn't really playing football. Actually, that day you guys were on that football field. The day you guys were on that football field, that was probably the most he saw that field.
The most field time.
Goodness. Oh goodness, Cory, you can't go there though. You have to have been there to be able to cut him down. I'm going to stand up for Bob.
What are you saying? I didn't see time on the field. I saw plenty of time, Todd.
Things froze. Was it me or you guys? I think it was me.
No, we're good.
I will say that that's likely the most time that Bob spent inside the sidelines on that. Besides practice.
I will say this. I have nothing to say about sports because I don't like them, and I was not into sports. But I will say one good turn deserves another. And at Cory's wedding, his mom, when I was mentioning how even though I was in law enforcement for several years with Cory, and we pursued people many times, took them into custody, I can't recall for the life of me seeing him run. And she said, well, he does run. Because he played like Pee Wee football, and she said, excuse me,
no, because I'm shutting the story down.
Whatever football was doesn't matter.
That's high school football.
Okay. And she said, she goes, it was nice because even if we were further back in the stands,
she never said any of this.
This is what she told me. She said, even if we were further back in the stands,
no, because that's way too detailed. This is a Nick story.
Nope. Yes. She said that. I never had a problem knowing which one was Cory because he was the one running like he had a stick up his ass.
I excelled on the ice.
Yeah, short little movements that made you go long distances.
Yeah, where you have to be really upright, whereas in football, on the leaned over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, leaning over like that wasn't my thing. I'll give you that.
It was not my fort.
Oh, indeed. All right. Well, that's the story. And
oh man, that was awesome.
Go ahead and cut out and leave you guys to your thing. So I appreciate you having me on.
Dr. Phil Anton, we appreciate it. Short notice. That's amazing, man. I know you have a tight schedule, and we certainly appreciate you blessing us with your words of wisdom. And
love you, King Dome.
It is late. We appreciate you being on, buddy.
Thank you, Phil.
It's later for you guys. I'm really being really old right now. So there you go.
But you are really old, so that's fine.
I said that, yeah.
Well, thank you so much again, Phil.
You bet.
Awesome having you on. And we'll have to set something up where you can do a full episode with us.
Absolutely.
Tell Julie I said hello.
We'll do. And can I get one final message in before I cut out?
Of course.
Sir. Bob, fuck you.
Dr. Phil Anton, ladies and gentlemen, one of the co-creators and on the ground floor of the Schnozzcast. We wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for that man. So a big round of applause for him. And moving right along on the second half of the Schnozzcast. So right now, we're going to head into, let's see here. We're going to head into, Todd, are you okay with some 90-second sports?
I'm ready for some 90-second sports.
All right, we're going to do some 90-second sports with Mr. Todd Dillon. Let me get my little timer. The timer brought to you by Bob J.W. Rankin. And 90-second sports, unless he took it off.
It's on there.
Is it?
Somewhere.
Push a button. Push a button.
Starts now.
And we see him heading in that direction. The 20. He's going for 40. And it's 90-second sports.
90-second sports, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by Mr. Todd Dillon. And Todd, your time starts now.
Hey ho! So I'm not gonna drag it out like I did last time because originally I was gonna talk about golf. I was gonna bitch about the fact that now that there's this LIV league backed by the Saudis, you got half the players playing in one league, half playing in another, and Tigerless golf just sucks. So I was gonna bitch about that, but then I came across a story. I'm not a big baseball fan, but this is pretty amazing to me. Yesterday, the Milwaukee Brewers took on the Pittsburgh Pirates. And the Pittsburgh Pirates the Brewers handed a beatdown to the Pirates. And so the mop-up duty in the top of the eighth inning, the Pittsburgh Pirates put in one of their relief pitchers to just close the game out, just get get a couple outs, let's get out of here with as much dignity as we can after getting shellacked 9-1 in the first 8 innings of the game. This guy, Cam Vio, rolled in and threw 56 pitches in 1 inning. And let me tell you about his stats. He actually let 2 people get on base. He gave up a grand slam home run. Had an error, and long story short,
and that's 90-second sports. There's no long story short. That's
damn it. Dude threw 56 pitches in an inning.
Todd, I don't think you understand 90-second sports and how it works. There are no Hail Marys that are thrown after the buzzer goes off. So we're done. It's in. That's the end.
He tried.
It's not 97 seconds.
I'm just saying.
It's not 97 second sports.
Coach needs to be punched in the neck. Coach needs to be punched in the neck.
Hold on, we're going to cut his mic.
Todd, I applaud the persistence, sir.
That's a great hair sweater you got going there, Cory.
You like that?
Oh, jeez.
I wasn't going to say anything about it. I don't have a vest, so.
Not his love rug.
It's actually all just the hair from my taint. That's.
You had to shave it for your tens unit, so.
Yeah, I put it. I transplanted it.
All right, guys. So what we're going to do now is something that's unheard of. But I'm running the show, so it's
fine. Bob's really going to love this.
It's completely fine. Doesn't matter. I can do whatever I want. So right now.
Existential question of the week.
All right, this is
I have a clarifying question.
Yes, sir.
The question hasn't even started, Todd.
I know. How come we couldn't have added 90 seconds to my 90-second sports since we're doing a double dip in an unprecedented fashion?
I'm sorry,
It feels like I should still be talking about the coach fight that should happen.
I'm sorry, you're not running the show. So
I would say, like Nick just told you, he's in charge today.
This is good. This is going to give Bob Rankin. It's going to give him that fire in his belly. That's going to be like, you know what? When I'm not sick, laying around thinking I might be sick, even though I'm not sick, I might have to show up to the podcast next time.
Yeah, this shit can't abide.
Yeah, this cannot happen. This can't happen again. So the second installment of Nick's existential question of the week, which we can do because, as they say in Practical Jokers, is that against the rules? We are the rules. We make the rules. Why not? So, what is
a shot?
Yes. What is? We're gonna do this.
My guilty pleasure?
No, we're not going backwards. So we're gonna do the shot first. Cheers, Cory.
Todd.
Cheers.
Coffee.
Salute.
All right. The second installment of Nick's existential question with those amazing, amazing ballads that we just heard, courtesy of Mr. Todd Dillon. We need, from each one of us tonight, one serious issue, shallow thought. Serious issue, shallow thought. From each member of the show. Something that's like, I know this is fucking serious, but this is kind of how I feel about it. So why don't you guys think of that? Wrap your brain around serious issue, shallow thought. I know you have it. You probably just need an example.
No, I don't need an example.
I have one.
Okay, Todd.
It's bad. This is over. This might be over the line.
That's okay. No, there's no line. That's okay.
Well, because serious issue, and this isn't a political podcast, so I don't.
No. Okay. That's fine.
But my serious issue. So with all the repealing that the Supreme Court is doing a shit, I think it's only a matter of time before I'm not allowed to be married to Mary anymore, and I'm trying to figure out if I still have to give half my shit away.
Wait, what? So it's going to go in that direction, huh?
Dude. First thing they're going to strike down. Gay marriage is going to get rolled out. And then somebody's going, you know what?
You shouldn't be allowed to be married to black people.
Exactly. And I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to still lose half my shit.
Well, Todd, I will say the gay marriage thing, they probably shouldn't watch this episode with the vest that you're wearing and me being shirtless. So,
yeah, really, what the fuck? Wait, hold on. I am also in a multicolored tie dye, so I don't know. I get it's red, white, and blue, but still, I could be on the fence with that.
Yeah, well, it's probably a very bad example. This should not be produced in any court of law.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, of course not. But for that purpose, there could be.
All right.
So
yeah. So your serious issue, shallow thought is what? You gotta use your words though. You got to describe a little bit more. So you have to. So you're saying that.
So it feels like we're in this weird state where the Supreme Court is kind of wagging us along, and so so my thought is, I'm like, where do we go next? Right? There's a lot of law that's been stood, and a lot of people said that they weren't going to do a thing, and then we did it, and I'm like, okay, it doesn't affect me, so I'm not going to pick a thing. But it's like people are talking about potentially making gay marriage illegal, which I think is crazy. And I'm like, that's like a nano step away from black people not being allowed to be married. So my thing is, I'm like, if that becomes a thing, do I still have to give up half my shit when Mary has to dump me? That's my shallow part.
The way I look at it, and for me, it really doesn't have to do with any kind of politics, but why are other people that are not involved in any kind of marriage or relationship with you in any regard, regardless of anything, unless it's injuring or hurting something or someone,
right?
Why? Who cares? Marry the fucking light pole if you want to. There's people that have married a robot, and
there you go.
Nobody gives a fuck.
It seems like one third of us want to fuck a robot before a human being anyway. So,
well, there wasn't a robot married.
If you want sentient thought, you're gonna have. I think that we're on our way to sentient thought there.
There was
pregnant.
there was one Japanese man that married a very Japanime looking robot, and he said after 5 years he's exclaimed that things aren't going very well.
He got tired of her.
Things are not going very well after her 150 pre-described responses. I don't think he's as interested anymore. So
makes sense.
But
how many ways can you code to hold the Johnson?
I don't even know if this was a robot that like moved her arms and stuff. I think it was like basically like an Alexa built into a Japanime like mannequin. I think that's basically what it was.
She can't figure out the reverse Texas tornado.
Then I can figure. I already know where that went wrong. Then right? She's like probably the day that she went. Are you going to ask me what time it is again? I just told you 5 minutes ago, you dumb bitch. It's 2 minutes after 2. That's AI at work.
All right. Cory, what are you thinking, man?
This just like Todd, I really hate to say this, and I don't know why I'm about to.
It's okay. Here's the thing with us. We don't have to delve into politics. We don't have to delve into anything like that.
I know. It's
and we're not going to argue because we don't do it because it's argumentative.
I'm not worried about you guys arguing it. That's least of my concerns.
This is a serious issue, shallow thought. This is a get out of jail free card on this podcast.
My thing would be abortion. If you want to do it, fucking do it.
Right.
That's
do it safely.
Yeah, exactly. Go to an actual place that you can get it done. I feel terrible saying that, but if that's your choice, that's your choice. Go do it. Whatever.
And I'd love to rebut. I would, but I just don't care enough. I really don't.
To me at the end of the day, it's someone else's life.
Yep.
That's your choice. Not mine. Not society's.
I'll be completely honest with you.
Do what you want.
I'll be completely honest with you. I see both sides. I really do.
What's the other side?
I see both sides. I see one, my body, my choice, but I also see, that wouldn't be a part of your body if a man was not involved. So that's a second life. You know what I mean? So I can understand logically like how both people could be pissed off. But that's about as far as I want to get involved in it. That's it. That's the end of it. It doesn't involve me. So
that's what I'm saying.
And I know that's a cop out, but
Well, even with your other side though, half of it's weakened if the man who was a part of that is supportive of that activity, right? If he wants to keep the baby and she doesn't, it seems wrong. But if they both agree that terminating the pregnancy is the best for them,
yeah, I think there should be. I think there should be some checks and balances. And I don't believe, like, this is just me personally, not to get political because I'm not, but. I don't believe my body, my choice, because it's we're not saying we're going to take your limb off. This is something that you and someone else made a choice to do and created something beyond that. So it's like saying, well, you know, I brought the sugar and the flour and you brought the vanilla and the eggs and we put it in the oven and now it's about to be done. And the woman's like, my oven, my choice, and took the brownies out or whatever, the cake, and threw it out the window. And the guy's like, wait, what the fuck? I fucking bought these eggs. I bought the sugar.
I think that's a perfect case where you should have a rule against that, someone being able to do that. I agree with you there, even though, again, not my body, and that I'm not
sure,
invested, so my opinion is lacking. But I will say, quite honestly, though, if with draconian rules, and again, just to talk science, this isn't politics, but some people need to have that procedure done not because of that. Like the woman recently in a country where abortion is illegal, and they determined that if the baby was born, she was going to die, and the baby was no longer viable. But because of it was still alive, technically, they couldn't do anything. She had to go to another country where she risked her life because the baby was not viable. Again, so that's the problem is if you lean into, there are tons of different scenarios that play out, and I think that probably men should stay out of stay out of it, except for in the case where they are like, I will do everything to take care of this kid.
If it's a consensual situation where the guy is like, hey, you know, we didn't really plan on this, but yeah, I'll be there for you in any way you need. Then I think there should be like. We both turn our key. You know what I mean? Like we both have to agree with this. And I mean, it's pretty simple mindset. But I feel like rape and stuff like that. No, fuck that. Go out the window. Yeah. Go do what you need to do. That's fucking bullshit. And
again, so this is getting way deeper than
we're just touching the surface. That's it.
I know. But my thing was to me, you said the idea of that it doesn't apply to my life. If you want to do it. It's the same thing as
you should have access to take care of yourself in that way if it's something that you would like.
Correctly, yes. Not by doing it
correct.
Not a coat hanger.
And you shouldn't have the burden of having to go hundreds of miles away from your home to again have a safe medical procedure. And leave the judgment and all other shit to God.
So like to me, I guess the way I look at it is like, if you guys were to hop on me about the pillowcase thing I told you, I'm like, oh, that's so weird and wrong. And at the end of the day, it's in my own home, and it's something I do on when it's just myself and Danielle. So that
she's involved with this?
She knows about it. But
she does. Wait, hold on. So she at one end of the pillowcase, you're at the other?
She holds it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's sweet, sassy molasses.
I know. It's two fingers in the bum.
Oh, all right.
It's a crazy situation. But if that's something I do at home, no one that doesn't apply to anyone else. So let me do what I want to do at home and make my own decisions.
I feel like there's so many variables. Like
that's the last thing I'm going to say about it.
There are so many variables. And we're not a political podcast, but I do believe we're a podcast that we need to, that we like to plant seeds, and we want you to make your own thoughts and your own decisions, and you decide. And certainly, we're not a podcast. We've got people on this show that are both sides of the aisle, and I think that the message that we constantly want to project, regardless of anything else, is that, you know what, just because we don't agree on something doesn't mean we can't be the best of friends. And that's the way people should be across the board. And
I would actually make one correction to your statement, even though you said it.
What's that?
I would say that there's more than one side of the aisle, because me, quite honestly, I don't sit on either aisle. So
yeah, there you go. Then three. You got three different sides. You got a middle, you got two sides.
There you go.
But
there you go. I mean, again, my side depends on the issue. I'll debate any singular issue across the spectrum with anyone, and I would find likely that I would be on, again, if there were two aisles, I'd be probably straddling them.
But the thing I love, well, that's not the only thing you're straddling. But the thing I love about you guys is that, and we wouldn't be able to have this show if I didn't. Me personally, my opinion, but I love the fact that I know that Cory and Bob and Todd are, if nothing else, creatures of intellect and philosophy. Philosophy meaning the love of wisdom, Philo and Sophia. And I know that if there was something that Cory disagreed with, or Bob or Todd, and that someone brought something to light that remotely inspired them to change their mind, they would never, any one of you guys would never be too proud to say so. You'd be like, holy shit.
100%.
Holy shit, thank you.
Yep.
And I love that because I feel the same way. It's like, please prove me wrong. Tell me something I don't know. I want that. And it's not something that's accepted, and it's not something that's like the normative order of society. And, you just get these villagers and pitchforks on both sides or in the middle or wherever it is.
Yep.
And that's all. No one wants to hear anything. And we should be doing more talking like this. So that's super cool. Serious issue, shallow thought. I'm trying to wrap my brain around what mine could possibly be. Yeah, I don't know. I think it would have to do with like a DNR situation, like do not resuscitate, and how blown out of proportion it usually is, that people have to literally get DNR tattooed on their chest to stop hospitals from resuscitating them. Like that to me is my body, my choice. That is, hey, look, I don't want, and my dad's a big proponent of this. He's a big believer, listen, if I'm going to have tubes down my throat, tubes in my nose, things feeding me, get rid of me. This ain't like, I don't want to be around. I don't want to be around, And also,
clarifying question.
Yes, sir.
Does your wiener work? Any feeling in that? You might reconsider, brother.
I mean, if someone's staring at me, sometimes it doesn't. It's just like a stage fright. But if you're talking about the person in the coma, that's a whole nother story. But the other thing that's kind of part of this is that he's always said, which I wholeheartedly agree in, is I feel like that, funeral practices, the way we do things in society, seems so antiquated, seems so caveman-esque. I almost feel as if we're going to look back on this. There's certain tribes in Indonesia and countries like that dig their relatives up every year, and they clean them off, these stiff corpses that are bones and skin, and they put perfume on them, and they change their clothes, and they parade them around the city. And to them, that's super normal. And we may think like, wow, that's so insane. That's crazy. And they lay them in a bed next to them, and, they think it's this big deal. But my dad brought up a great point, and that's, what we do right now is kind of macabre, because we dress the dead. We dress them up in evening wear, and we have to break their bones to put them into this box, because this is what we think they need to go into. And we take all their organs out. We pump them full of chemicals, and we put things in their eyes to look like they're normal, even though they're not. And we put makeup on them and lipstick, like they're going out on the town. And then we go up to them and we say, God, don't they look so good? It's like, no. And knowing what they do, no, they don't. First of all, they never look good. I'm sorry. If you're a mortician or you're a funeral director, they never look good. Yeah, no one looks good.
Dead's never attractive, except for necrophiliacs.
Nope. Yeah. Their face is, the muscles aren't supporting the face anymore, so it's all like this blob, and it's like sunken in, and it's never good. It's never good. So we're comparing it on a scale of, a horribly low bar that we're like, for what happened, don't they look good? And my dad had said, like, I feel like as a society, 50 to 100 years from now, we're going to be like, we did what? We used to dress them up and put makeup on them and touch them. And it just seems so odd to me. It seems very, very odd. And he's always said, which I kind of agree with, remember those positive thoughts. Remember those amazing times you had with that person. And it hits a chord with me because I just recently lost someone. But, both my grandparents, we didn't want open caskets. We didn't want the long, drawn-out viewings and everything. My grandparents wouldn't want that. And the family doesn't want that, And if you do, I respect it 100%. But it's like, put a nice picture of me cracking up at the bar with my friends. That's how I want people to remember me, not what you're seeing, the shell. I'm not there anymore. This doesn't make any, you're going to dress me up like you think I should look. And, like I'm going to someone's wedding, it doesn't even make any sense to me. So that's
I'm going to be dressed up and keep all my organs. I'm going to make all you fuckers tote me like 100 yards.
Yeah. I'm making about 5 yards, Todd. You're getting dropped.
We're going to do, what is it that, what was that, the African, like, funeral thing where they're all, like, dancing and everything like that, and they got
they toss the casket up in the air.
White gloves on and everything, that would be amazing. I would like it more or less because I would be the one being alive, like, putting on the show, but I don't know about the person
the
that's
dead
inside.
know one thing. It is better to be alive.
Very true.
But that's my serious issue. Shallow thought. It's just it's something that's always been very strange to me. So moving right along, let's see if we can touch on a little bit of gentleman's agreement and see if we can knock that out of the park while we're here. So,
play the song.
There's no song.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, there is.
There is now?
You made it.
Did I?
Yeah.
You did.
Oh, okay, yeah. I didn't make a song. A song was taken from something I said. Yeah, I always forget about that one. So here you go. Oh, it's the MF and Gentleman's Agreement. Oh, done. If only it were done.
Exactly, because Todd didn't do it. I love it. And it turns out people hate this segment.
Oh, that makes me love it even more.
I don't get so many people that I talk to absolutely love this segment. So
it's perfect. It's a splitter. It's a seam, if you will.
Cory, for Gentleman's Agreement, I believe what was on 611 or was it 618? And it just wasn't put in here.
I don't know which one it was, but
it must have been 618. It wasn't put in there. So what did you have?
George Carlin.
Oh, there it just popped up. There it is. Bob's obviously listening. So Cory showed up. George Carlin's American Dream.
Yes.
And that was given to you by
Bob.
Okay.
Bob Beep.
It would, dude. It was a great documentary or docuseries. It was 2 episodes, each hour and a half long. And it just kind of gives you the background of George Carlin's life and what he went through as a comedian. All I'll say, if anyone's a fan of comedy, definitely watch it. He pioneered a lot of stuff that we see today in comedy. But I also think he might have been a genius in a madman's body.
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
He was super smart. He's super smart. The composition of his jokes, that dude's brilliant. He was brilliant.
Very, very much so. Especially in his younger years. I mean, way, way ahead of his time. Spoiler alert for those that do want to watch it. He created the idea of HBO specials or the idea of stand-up being on Netflix.
Oh, I don't doubt that.
He was the first one to do it.
he was kind of the father of stand-up comedians being on TV, right?
Yeah, pretty much. But dude, I will say, near the end of his life, he lost it a little bit. They played some clips from certain shows and appearances he had, and it seems like he almost got so deep in his own mind, he was kind of, I guess, kind of mind fucking himself.
Well, I think I was going to say, if I haven't seen it, but the one thing when I think about it is how close are geniuses to insanity anyway? Ultimately, we have like Kanye West is a musical genius. He's a freaking goofball. He's absolutely
and that was definitely in the back of my mind that, the entire time that, this guy might just be so brilliant. Like it comes to a point where you're like, wow, I like, what else can I do? What else can I do? There's nothing else I can do to get my point across or to change society or change or make that big of a mark, which he did. He made a huge mark in comedy, but I think what he was reaching for was a much further reach. He wanted to make an actual impact on the world, which is awesome. But I think when he finally realized he wanted to do that, and how he tried to put it across didn't sit well with viewers and people that liked his comedy, which is fine because I think a lot of people looked at him as a comedian, but he had some very serious issues and things that he wanted to portray that he was stuck in that role of a comedian.
Yep.
And I think if he would have just came out and said like, hey, like, no, like, this is a serious talk, that he would have been received a lot better in the fact that what he was talking about they were serious issues, but he was trying to make light of them. And I think that's why he wasn't received in the way that I think he wanted to be near the end of his life, because it was always a joke about it. And if he would have just said like, hey, like, no, like I want to sit down and have a serious talk with someone on CNN or CBS, whatever the show he might have been on, it would have gotten across a little bit better.
I think it'd be hard for people struggle to separate. At the end of the day, he plays a clown on TV, right? He's an outrageous clown even.
Right.
And so to actually say, hey, I'm being serious, again, I think he used his platform, and again, some of his messaging, if you can't tell that he's making light, or if that's the way he really thinks, makes it very difficult, because there's things that I've heard him say. I think he's a comic genius, and I like a ton of his stuff. I thought some of his stuff is very off-putting as well. Which at the end of the day, that's kind of what comedians do. Their art lands sometimes, and sometimes it's horribly, horribly bad.
Yeah, and I think that's what he was struggling with. Again, this is all near the end of his life and career. He was most definitely a comedian genius all prior to that. But I think he was trying to change his message a little bit, and I think if he would have went about that in a little bit of a different way, it would have been received a little bit better than how it was, in reality.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, as Todd would say,
Jesus,
it was a great docuseries. Went from A to B of his life, or A to Z. Sorry, in my bad. But it's a great docuseries, and anyone that's a fan of comedy, definitely watch it. Anyone that's just a fan of even political issues, check it out. It's fantastic.
All right. Great review, buddy. So I was given LA Confidential by Mr. Bob J.W. Rankin. So a couple things. I'm the kind of person that, I don't like to get, as much as I love to hear myself speak, I don't want to get too involved in a movie review, because I feel like we're looking for stamps of approval, and we're not looking for tell me the story of the entire movie, because I want to go into this fresh. I want to go into it raw. And if it's something I seriously want to know, then why am I looking to you for all these spoilers? That doesn't make any sense. So this was, a cop-centric movie. And as you can imagine, there's corruption and things like that. And face value, it was a great movie. For those who don't know anything about the movie, I don't know how you could go wrong. You've got Guy Pearce, Russell Crowe, Danny DeVito, Kevin Spacey. I mean, that alone right there, I don't care what the plot is, like, you should be running to see this fucking film. I think the film, even though it was a little bit older, I think it aged astonishingly well. It was a bit smutty, kind of grimy, but I liked it. I think it was awesome. And, just the fact that, anything outside of a Western that can age well and you can still kind of relate to the movie, I think they knocked it out of the park with this one. And it seriously will be something that I consider either, I'm not a big, like Bob, like I'm going to purchase the DVD kind of person. But I may get it off Amazon Prime and just, instead of the $3.99, just spend the $9 or whatever it is and have it in my collection. But I certainly loved this movie. I loved a lot of stuff Kevin Spacey's in, regardless of all the shit he's been tied up in.
Sexual predilections.
Yeah, it's like this. It's like, R. Kelly was just he was just sentenced to 30 years in prison. That's not going to stop me from liking R. Kelly's music. I think he had great music.
Just a bad human being.
Yeah, he's just a horrible human being. Bill Cosby was a great role model for a lot of fucking people. And as a person, he was horrible. And, he did what he had to do. He did his time, and people came forward, and it is what it is. But what he portrayed as an actor was something that I know a lot of young people took to heart, and it may have changed lives. I'm certain it did. And in the same turnaround, these are people that are meant to entertain us. That's it. I don't care about their political views. I don't care about what the fuck they do. I'm not directly handing them money. And I think they're doing their purpose. If you had a police officer that was out there that ended up being corrupt, but he saved a baby's life, as a police officer, that's what he should have done. I'm not going to be mad at him for saving that baby's life, because that's his job. But I'm not going to fucking write the guy and become his friend. If he's a horrible fucking person, then he's a horrible person. He gets anything he fucking deserves. So in the same respect, with that, I'm one of the few people that will still say I like Kevin Spacey movies. But I absolutely love Russell Crowe as well, as I'm starting to realize more and more. Danny DeVito, he's an acquired taste, but I like him. So I give it a really big thumbs up. And if you have not seen this movie, LA Confidential, go out and rent it, watch it, do whatever you can. It'll certainly it'll make you happy for sure, 100%. Todd,
yes, sir.
From what I'm seeing here, you had Shoresy.
I did, and so I purposefully only watched the required amount because it is really good. So basically, if you are a fan of Letterkenny, then this character. He's in another town, kind of the savvy veteran on a hockey team that can't win, and they're thinking they're gonna shut it down.
Some would say a whale shit hockey team.
Exactly, a whale shit hockey team. Great show. And if you're not familiar with Letterkenny, think thick Canadian accent, very very word heavy, verbose dialogue that you have to pay attention to. Very, very witty writing. I love that. I love this sort of stuff. Super solid. And the only reason I stopped is because I'm not all the way through Letterkenny, and I want to kind of see if there's a linkage there. So highly recommend. That is my Todd Dillon. I already know this is going to get an A. because the first 2 episodes did not disappoint.
So Todd, you thought it was a good show?
I did.
Huh? Todd didn't catch that. You didn't catch the reference from Shorzy, buddy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Anytime he asks a question, he says, huh?
Oh, yeah.
So you thought it was a good show, huh?
This is Hitch. His real name's Ted Hitchcock. But if you say it really fast, it sounds like 10-inch cock. I've been called worse.
Todd, let me ask you this about Shorzy.
Yes.
Did you see a range in Jared Kiso's acting ability?
I did.
To me, it's a completely different character than Wayne.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mannerisms and tone of voice, like it's for being an amateur hockey player, he's actually a pretty damn good actor.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I was going to say, yeah, he was in a very hardcore comedy role. He was a serious. His whole demeanor is different. I loved it.
Awesome, man. I'm glad you liked it.
Dude, that's amazing. So we're going to do new assignments here. We're going to make this very easy. I don't have any kind of algorithm, but I've got Todd. Todd has Cory. Cory has me. That's the way it's going to go. So let's figure this out, right? Fucking meow. Does anyone have one? Want to go first?
I got you.
I gotta think. What? I got one. I mean, this is a long shot. I didn't look at your list, Cory, because I was hoping I'd get Nick today. But have you seen The Magnificent Seven?
Yes.
Yeah.
Todd, have you seen Surviving Death?
I don't think so.
It's on Netflix.
Okay.
Surviving Death.
Got it. Then, well, I have one, Cory, but it's brand new. Then, if you want me to go again, I can rapid fire. This is brand new, just out. I just watched it. The Terminal List.
I have not seen that.
There you go. It's on Prime.
All right, Nick. There's just almost too much on the list.
I know.
And this is so. I don't.
Let us remind you, it's an audio podcast.
I know, and that's what's hard about this, because I had I known I was going to have you, I would have had one already set up. But let's go.
That's funny. I was ready for Nick.
Most people are not.
Let's go with keep sweet, pray, obey.
What the fuck does that mean?
It means keep sweet, pray, obey.
So hold on, Todd. So Terminal List.
Terminal List.
Okay.
It's on Amazon Prime.
Are they 2 words?
Yes, 2 words. Terminal List. Brand new, just came out yesterday, and I binge watched the whole series.
Got you. And that's for Cory. And Cory, I'm trying to update all this because from my fucking phone while we're doing the show. And Cory, you said for me was what?
Eat, Pray, Love.
Yeah, that's all I need is him watching the wrong movie.
What was it?
Keep sweet, pray, obey.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Way to throw a wrench in there, Todd.
He's going to watch Eat, Pray, Love.
Yeah, I'm sure he will.
Nope, it's going in the hopper right now. All right, so we all have our picks?
I believe so.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Nick from the Schnozzcast. And for episode 180, myself, Mr. Todd Dillon, Dr. Phil Anton, Cory Selesky. Have a good night. Be good to yourself and each other.